Shout out to Young Justice. All right, let's move on to the next one. Speaking of DC properties, we're going to talk about Peacemaker that just wrapped up on HBO Max about Peacemaker from the Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad. I think it's
From
the
Suicide
Suicide
Squad,
Squad. Yeah, yeah. It's played
whichever
by
one.
John Cena. Jason, would you like the
The
first crack at this one? Or?
I mean, I'm just gonna gush about this show. That's all I'm gonna do. You want to hear me just 15 minutes of me reaching full climax about how awesome this show
Do you
is.
want to get it? Do you really want
Like,
to?
this is why we did from last week's episode the whole wrestler talk, because John Cena in this is perfectly cast. He's I mean, like, let's just be honest. John Cena is not just the best thing about this. I think the whole entire cast is phenomenal.
Yes.
I love the fact that I can't pronounce it, or it's Amanda Waller's dollar. Her last name is very ethnic, and I am a shitty American person, so I can't pronounce. It's Adewale or something like that.
Right.
She
Yep.
is amazing. It's She is almost like the second lead to this, and it is great for me. Like, even though there's the white guy, the typical handsome white guy as the main character, her story is as important to the whole um, DNA of the story as it is more than anybody else's. And I love the fact that this uh, you know plus size dark skinned black woman has this prominent role in this TV show, which in any other sort of genre would probably have not included her whatsoever.
Look,
And
I'll admit that was a detractor for me. But go on. I'm
he
glad you
wants he
pointed that
wants
out.
he wants the light skinned girls in here.
No, no, no. I'll talk about it when
That's
it's my time. Continue.
Can I reclaim my time? It's not taking away from my time. But let's also be honest. Like, John Cena makes his show. He makes his show work. You can obviously tell that James Gunn's total styling and sensibility in here. Um, and I said this before about when it started. James Gunn though has to capture the tone of comic books, and he could do it in the movie. He knows how to balance between the goofy, silly nature of comic books, and then also turn around and give you, serious drama, and like actually have it mean something, and then give you that weight, and then give it a beat to breathe and let you feel it, and then turn it on and still do some more funny shit, and it
Right.
works. It is very, very. It's not jarring, and it's not like whiplash tonally issues. Like, it works, and like that's what's so great about the show, and it's kept up its energy. And a lot of shows will kind of falter off by the end. In this season, I would say like the last before the finale, the last two episodes were kind of slowing down a little bit because it was dealing with more of the drama behind it rather than being fun and funny. But it still kept up its pace. And this ending is heart. I mean, not heartbreaking, but it hits you in the feels. Everything, you get
Hmm.
all the emotional comeuppance, and then it goes on and does something funny and crazy. And I'm not going to spoil the very ending, but I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's funny
Right,
right there.
right.
Like, you probably already seen it on the internet, but I won't spoil it here because that was a pleasant surprise for me because I wouldn't expect that to happen on a TV show, you know,
Right.
because usually in these properties they keep things very, very self-contained, and you very, very get little very rarely get little crossover in these DC
Not even a
properties or
crossover.
any
It's even self-contained. Like you get very little. The tones are so different in
yeah
what this is to what the thing that
stuff
cameos in
is
it.
yeah
Yeah,
that is
and so
it
you don't
almost
get that.
it, it almost feels like they're two different universes or whatever,
Right.
but in this one it's like, nope, all universe, all the same stuff, you know
It's like if
and
Deadpool would have dropped into First Class, X-Men First Class. Like that tone would never
yeah,
match.
that tone would never work. It would have never have matched. And you end up believing that they're in two different universes, even though you'll see in the Deadpool, oh, there's Professor X. You're still like, oh, that's just the Deadpool universe versus the actual
Right.
X-Men universe or whatever. But in this one, spot on. It's great. This show was for a character that I don't give a shit about. Like,
Mhm.
this is a I wouldn't even say a C level. This is a Z level character. This is a Charlton Comics character that DC bought 1,000 years ago. They didn't do a whole lot with, you know, And James Gunn was allowed to play with him with the Suicide Squad movie, and now he's allowed to play with him with the TV show. He has done a lot to make this character actually resonate with people. Like, I don't care about Peacemaker. I never cared about Peacemaker. Like, and it just makes me sad that you have all this whole staple of characters in DC that y'all could do stuff with, and y'all just choose not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, like, as much as I love Batman, Robin's my favorite superhero, but I can't have Robin without Batman. you know, as much as I like seeing Batman stuff, y'all have so much y'all can do. And this show proves that y'all can do a whole lot with all the characters you have, and yet we keep getting the same two characters, if not just the same one character, over and over again. And that's the saddest thing about the show is that Warner Brothers sucks.
Right, right.
But yeah,
All right.
this is great. This is great. I love the show. I can't wait for season 2. And it's getting a season
So
2.
I want to make peace with James Gunn because we did put a review out. That was about the first 3 episodes, and my critique was, nothing's really funny until you get serious. Like, everything can't be a joke. Well, everything can be a joke when you finally do hit home with the seriousness, and the seriousness is so believable, and you realize the joking is just a cover up and a mask for insecurities. And it is played and worked brilliantly here. James Gunn, I don't know why I ever doubted you. I just want to first and foremost say it's these moments in when we do this show where things are done, I want to call it so nerdily or geekily that you can't help not to like it if you're in the genre and if you understand like nerd and geek culture, sense of humor and sarcasm, and like, let's be real, most and people like us, because of the years of being teased and tormented, we've all developed really good winky sense of humors, and very like amongst our friends, we're all very like just weird sense of humors that are comical jokes and etc. When I say that, part of that comes to when I get to the fantasy realm of it's certain things that only people in our ilk and community could just think of and do. I made to nominate James Gunn as like King Nerd and let him rule over the kingdom because let's go through a checklist of things if you would like to see in it. So Jason, let's take this survey here. All right. Would you like to see Man Chainsaw Gorilla?
Yes.
Yes, check. Would you like to see amorphous cow-looking centipede alien but rammed through with blunt head object?
Yes.
Check there. Would you like to see a cameo from the world's finest? I guess that may give away too much, but let's say a cameo where characters play off of the rumors told about each other to comedic value.
Yes.
So like I mean, it's just we can go on and on and on. The thing in here that works with Peacemaker so well, because all the stuff in here is really good. Let's be, all the stuff is great. The really good is so close to being great. It almost feels like it misses the mark when the really good is just really good. So like Judo Master, I would say Judo Master is probably the weakest link in this, but still has some of the dopest moments in this. Like him
Why is
eating
he
hot
always
Cheetos
eating
alone.
Cheetos?
Yeah, it's just dope alone. And if you can make an argument that like he has no character arc and no reason to really be in there after his initial use, but you keep putting him in it because it's a dope character, and I think hopefully it'll pay off in season 2. The other part of this is, like you said, all the performances are strong. All the story arcs and the characterizations are really good. The only person I think gets hit a little weak is Hargrave.
Mm-hmm.
Hardcore. But yeah. So I think she's a little weak in here, but I get it because she had to play the Ice Queen, and to thaw that out, it takes a while. So I'm really interested to see how they develop her in season 2. But the fact that I can give that credence to say this is because you did an ensemble cast show, and everybody in the cast felt like real people that had real things at stake in what they're trying to accomplish. I mean, I know I mentioned about Morn, and I'm like, oh, I hate that he was so like goofy when he played it so straight laced, blah blah blah. But then the reveal about him, it goes, oh, that's why he's because he's probably learning this human nature thing as he goes.
Yeah.
So it made more sense once you got the reveal. Like even the big bads in here, when I was like, man, they've made. I think me and you might have talked about this because I don't think we recorded this part. Was that they made the big bad in here such a big threat that I'm like, how are these like jackasses going to figure this out? But then once the big threat was like revealed, it shrunk into itself and it made it like something that like these guys can handle, but not only handle. Do you want to handle the issue that's being presented here?
Yeah.
Like, what is the morally right decision here? Because now it just became ambiguous. And even with that decision that's made, the final scene of it when Peacemaker's back at his home and it's laid out and he has the various people there, like one person's there that like he feeds, and it's like, even though he made this decision,
He
it's like
still
it's
has
yeah. It you know what? I know how we talked about Chainsaw, we talked about Uncharted, and it's funny that we did it in this order because Chainsaw has you probably on the anger spectrum, Uncharted had us in the mud spectrum, Peacemaker has us in the gleefully joy spectrum because not because of all the geek stuff, because it's just so freaking well written. And as you talked
yes.
about Chekhov's gun and things paying off at the end, like almost everything pays off here tremendously. Go ahead.
I gotta say, Diebeard. That paid off
Yes,
phenomenally. Because that could
yes,
easily have been a continued gag. And even when he gets confronted about it, like, oh, why does your human do like that? It could have easily been another gag, another joke. It starts off as another joke, but it ends up being something actually like heartfelt and serious at the end. And you're like, like this, character you didn't get a whole lot of like, fleshed out by this one little scene that's been kind of a joke the whole entire time. You get the whole
yeah.
entire story for him, and it is and it because it easily have been just another joke, but
Mm-hmm.
instead it turns into something even more heartfelt than it's just stuff like that. It's good. It's
Guys,
good.
this show is so well written that you feel for an eagle. Not because it's an animal, because it's like a character in this, and you feel for her, you feel for the safety for an eagle, and like
I was
that's how dope it is. So, the last part
legally
I got on here though is just a shout out to how amazingly dope Vigilante is. Like he makes this show for me. The things he says, the way he acts, like the confidence in what he portrays himself as. It's just that is, and I didn't know this until I did some research on it, that actor wasn't the original guy play Vigilante.
yeah, they
They had
cut
already
him.
started shooting and had to plug him
Yeah,
in later. And the fact that he pulls off that performance with a late entry and then just vibing with everybody, it's commendable, man. And I guess I should know his name and give him some respect on that one. But just I mean, shout out to
so
him on
you're
that one.
willing to
And
murder anybody, but you draw the line at tape. He's like, yeah.
right. So good. So good. And only one gripe I would have with the whole thing, I guess his name is Freddie Stroma, is Vigilante's character's name. Oh, it's Vigilante's Freddie Stroma.
Actor.
But anyway, the only
That kid's
one
good.
thing I would say that I don't have an issue with, but I thought it was some more meat on that bone that wasn't exposed yet, was just the relationship between Peacemaker and his father, and how that's resolved. I guess I feel like it was some more meat on that bone before it was resolved. But what they're setting up for season 2, I think is going to be an
Yeah.
interesting play on it. I just wish we would have had a little longer before the resolution of it to kind of. I think again, I just think they left something out there to be earned. So, but
Maybe
other
that
than
should have been
that,
a
man,
season 2 occurrence rather than a season 1 occurrence, and then
right,
what
right,
they're
right,
doing
right,
for
right,
season
right.
2 for future seasons.
But
Um,
I,
for
I'm
the
pretty sure,
culture,
right?
uh, for us black, I gotta respect Vigilante because he went to that prison. And
Facts, facts. He may be a psychopath, but he ain't a racist.
yeah, but he ain't a racist.
Oh, and so Animal Bio. All right. So let me get this off my chest because it took me a lot of episodes to get used to her. She's put in, I think, as so it's I don't know if you might already mention, but she's the daughter of a prominent character in the universe. So one, I kind of felt some kind of way that like she was out of shape. But I understand she wasn't like in the biz. But
Yeah.
two, like I just wanted some. She didn't have to be like fit, but like.
Why are you body
All
shaming
right,
this girl,
all right,
man?
let's
Why are
just
you
say this.
body
Just put
shaming
it.
her?
Let's just say this. All right, let me put this. If I'm going to send
An agent
my
to the field.
daughter or son out on a mission that's going to take a lot of physical activity, possible like violence, and possible the ability to shoot firearms, I'm probably not going to send my son or daughter who I don't think is east at like the average or like acceptable moving around body size.
But
And
let's
that's what
also
kind of bothered me. It was just like I don't think this character who's a super genius who manipulates all these chess pieces would send their daughter to that one, knowing the kind of shape that she was in, even if she needed a gig. That was it
I
was hard for me to stomach for a lot of episodes.
I will 100% agree with you on that. 100%. You know, that is you have to stretch your disbelief on that. That a person who especially is supposed to care about this person is going to send to her. But let's also say that she is the body type of that character's in the comic book.
Yes,
Like
I agree.
she is definitely and in the comic book. I'm just spoiled. I mean, I think we already spoiled it. I mean, I think we already said it in the first episode. Uh, but I'm gonna put up a spoiler warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She is Amanda Waller's daughter, and in the live action, they have toned down Amanda Waller's size. In the comic book,
Right.
she's plump,
Oh,
and
she was Fat Oprah in the comic
yeah,
books.
and she still will look in Superman in the eye and spit in his face and say, "What you gonna do about it?" You know.
Yep.
So
Yeah, but
I
also
appreciate
we
that.
didn't have Amanda Waller doing field work either when we saw her that
No,
big
she
as
did. We
well.
didn't have Amanda Waller do a lot of field work. She's definitely not rolling around in her pumps in her pantsuit, taking on field work. But I feel like since especially since the New 52, they skinnied Amanda Waller up. Viola Davis is not a skinny woman, but she's not a plus figure by any stretch of the word.
Right.
I feel like they were bringing that character back to her roots by making her daughter uh, the body type that she's in the comic books, or where her mother's in the comic books. So I appreciate that about it. And more of our sisters to get acting jobs out there, the better
Look,
off we are.
that's why I say I hated saying it because, like, one, I'm with you. Like, body type representation is a good thing, and she's a dope ass character, and it's played very well, and she's a dark skinned sister. So it's all these things I have to like about it, but it's just every time they had a part of physicality with her, and like they would have her doing some running or something, and I'm like, come on, man, I feel
She
bad
gonna
saying it
fast
being
walk
like
at
this.
best.
Right. I just feel bad
I'm
about
coming.
saying that, but because I'm a fat dude, so I feel like if anybody could get that off and say it, it's me because I struggle with weight. If I had to run somewhere when she was running, motherfuckers gonna be gone. I might catch them. It's over.
Dudes will be
Like
dying.
I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Like it is what it is. So I feel bad. So
Say it in the
anyway,
car, everybody.
I'm pretty sure we're both giving these 1,000,000 out of 5. I think we
Yeah.
both agree on that one.
10 out of 5. Let's
Yes,
move.
perfect. Hey, how you doing there? We here at the N word for nerd like to tell you a little something about a product that we decided to, steal from some people and then sell to you at a very extremely serviceable price. Have you ever been tired, worn down, and just lazy? I know I am because that's my life. But then this magical drink came Nerd Focus.
Nerd
Nerd Focus hits
focus.
all that stuff in your brain, makes you smarter. Well, let me change it. It doesn't make you smarter, but since you brought this, which is a smart decision, then in that turn, it just made you smarter. So, by that nature, it does make you smarter. Have you ever wanted to turn into a Super Saiyan 4? Nerd Focus will help you do that. Jason, you just had some. What do you think about Nerd Focus?
It's delicious. It tastes very good. I feel more aware. I feel more awake now. I feel like I can actually talk to a girl, maybe. Maybe ask her out on a date. It definitely has electrolytes in it, so that's what plants need. It's very good. It's great.
Well, guys, if you want to get your own very own case of Nerd Focus, go ahead and check out our link in our description. That's our affiliate link. So if you do purchase a case of Nerd Focus, it actually does help us out tremendously. Hey, let's
That's what
get your
I'm
Nerd
drinking.
Focus on, man.
Focus up.